What's up, APS Squad? In today's video, we're going to tell you guys our top 10 structure decks of all time.
A question we actually get asked quite a lot, right?
Yeah, on
what deck should I buy?
Streams, comments on videos.
Yeah, because structure decks are something that, most Yu-Gi-Oh players get when they first get into the game. They have lots of great cards, new strategies, reprints.
And each one of these decks, they either introduce a new card that will kind of change like a format or a deck, or they'll reprint cards that really needed them.
Yeah, just good value for money. So, from 10 to 1, let's jump in.
Number 10, the Wave of Light structure deck.
Yes, this came out earlier this year, right?
Yes, it reintroduced the Counter Fairy archetype.
Which, for those who don't know, is basically these fairy monsters that benefit from you activating counter trap cards. Bountiful Artemis, the biggest one.
That's when draws, right?
Yeah, you draw whenever you resolve a counter trap, and this card actually hadn't been reprinted for like years before this set came out.
I remember Alex had it a long time ago. I didn't realize it'd been that long since it came out.
And not only that, there were also some new counter fairies that were introduced in this, as well as a couple of cards that kind of needed reprints. Solemn Warning.
Yeah, Solemn Warning.
Big one.
What is it? Ties of the Brethren.
Ties of the Brethren, a card
Huge.
that was a pretty big one, and it got reprinted as a common, so easy to get for everybody.
As far as the new cards, what was it? Eva,
yeah.
Little Green Man.
The deck had a Parshath boss monster, but believe it or not, Eva made the biggest impact because, like, when it goes to the grave, it searches fairies. Mm-hmm. It actually ended up getting used in World Chalice, a build that I believe topped YCS.
Or at least they did well enough that put it on notice. I think it's funny because I remember when we opened that, we all agreed we just couldn't figure out
this card can't do
purpose.
anything, and then it turns out to be like incredible. So I definitely think that purchasing 3 copies of this structure deck is totally worth it. You'll get a lot of counter traps. You'll get 3 ties. You'll have plenty of counter fairies to use.
Yeah, and if you're playing World Challenge, you might want those Eva.
Deck number 9 is structure deck Cyprus Link. So this one came out last year, and it actually only introduced one major new card. That was Trigate Wizard.
And you see him popping up everywhere.
Yeah, with all the extra links, it's kind of a staple.
Yeah.
But the reason why this made it on the list isn't just for Trigate. It's actually the wide array of really good reprints in this set.
They had,
what do we have here?
Glow Up Bulb.
Glow Up Bulb.
Kinkabyo.
Kinkabyo's huge. Some good spells and traps. Cosmic Cyclone.
Yeah.
A card that was like secret rare before then, I believe. Dimensional Barrier.
And D-Barrier, it came back kind of on the end of its usefulness in the meta, but it's so powerful.
Still, it was so
it's gonna come right back eventually.
Storming Mirror Force also.
Don't get me started on that card.
So, I think that this deck definitely is worth picking up, if only for the staple cards.
Yeah.
And if you get 3 of it, it's actually a pretty playable deck as well.
Number 8, Rise of the True Dragons.
Yeah, so this actually was a deck from 2016, I want to say.
Yeah, this reintroduced the. Was it a Felgran archetype or just a Felgran kind of slant?
Felgran, Arcbrave, and Dragon support in general.
Most people, they got it for Gospel, or what's it called now?
Return of the Dragon Lords.
He always
calls things by their Japanese translation.
I think Gospel was a much better name.
There was also Arcbrave Dragon, which did appear in Blue Eyes decks pretty popularly.
It worked well. It was in some of my old Red Eyes builds, because it was a level 7. It came back really easily.
And in addition to that, it also reprinted a few good cards. Dragon Ravine, Trade-In, Foolish Burial, I believe, was also in this. So it's definitely worth it. I think getting 3 copies of it and just playing the Felgran deck is a lot of fun.
And soon after, Ravine came to 2?
Yeah, it's around the time it was getting making its way off the ban list,
So that's a really good pickup back then.
Deck number 7 is Hero Strike. So this one's actually one of the older ones in this list, but it's still relevant today because it introduced Darklaw and Shadow Mist.
Oh, and we miss those days.
Yeah, so love him or hate him, Darklaw is a very popular card. And Shadow Mist is kind of what revived heroes with Stratos not being around. It still searches for them.
Not to mention we got Mass Change 2, which gave any deck the access to dark monsters. If they had dark monsters, can go into Darklaw.
Yeah, very annoying, but it has shown up in like Burning Abyss, Mermails. You were even able to use this and use like the water masked hero. So you can find a lot of applications for this deck. I definitely think it's worth picking up. And some of these cards haven't actually gotten like that many reprints. Darklaw only got like 1 or 2.
He got 2? I didn't know he
got
2.
Yeah, so this is actually a really good one. It's a bit older though, but
still solid. Number 6 was Lair of Darkness. This is very recent.
Very recent. Probably one of the most like I feel anticipated structure decks in recent years.
People were losing their minds for this deck.
Yeah, all because of the field spell itself, Layer of Darkness, which allows you to tribute your opponent's monsters once per turn, like just for anything.
For your own effects. And which was great because you're using things like, Darkest Diabolos, you tribute a monster, special summon it from the grave.
Yeah, a very...
Or when a monster is
tributed. He summons, and he can't be targeted, and he can tribute himself, and to get a card out of your opponent's hand. He's a good boss monster.
A big body.
He actually made his way into like the pure Sky Striker deck as kind of a pseudo boss for them.
We also got Lilith, who could search your normal traps.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, this searches viruses. Then I read it again and I was like, wait, this searches any traps. It can search like evenly matched or something like that. And it also gave us Grinning Grave virus. I actually reprinted all the viruses.
Was Crush in there?
Yeah, Crush, Deck Devi, Eradicate. I think they're all printed in this structure. So, I mean, I feel like and Mind Crush, there's a good one in there, too.
That's not a virus.
Well, I mean, it's a good trap. I feel like this is definitely a deck where if you bought 3 copies of it, you can make a pretty decent deck out of it. I've actually made a video about it. So, well worth it. It's actually kind of made something of a mark in the meta. You've seen, like,
it always pops up.
Lair Infernoids and stuff like that.
Noids.
So, well worth it. Deck number 5 is the Realm of Light structure deck.
Lightsworn.
Yes, another somewhat older one, but one that I think is just to this day, it actually has a lot of value in it.
Lightsworn never truly disappears. We still have those 60 card builds running around.
Yeah, and this introduced Raiden, which is kind of become a staple.
Yeah, he's I think still the best starting card.
The best starting Lightsworn, I would say. I mean, maybe Luminous. I mean, I don't know. It's him, and then they introduced a Synchro.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, who can banish cards.
Yeah, he's just nasty. But the reprints are great too, because a lot of those Lightsworn cards, they had high rarity old printings.
Yeah,
they were hard to get.
They reprinted Solar Recharge and Charge Light Brigade. I think Breakthrough Skill came in here too, so it's kind of worthwhile.
A lot of grave effects. Truly, without this structure deck, Lightsworn probably wouldn't even be in a conversation today.
And of course, you can't have enough Foolish Burials, so that's always a good reprint to have.
Let's go to number 4, Master of Pendulum.
It's fitting that you get to do this one, actually.
Yeah, that was the structure deck that brought in magicians. Not the magicians that terrify you at night, the okay magicians.
Yeah.
It had Oath Dragon, Pendulum Call.
Wisdom Eye Magician.
Maybe that might terrify you a bit.
Skull Crobat Joker, who's banned. He's been on and off the ban list a lot.
Alright, bought 3 of these so fast for Skull Crobat Joker.
It also introduced a couple of really good Odd Eyes monsters in the extra deck. Absolute Dragon, who's currently used today alongside Meteor Burst Dragon.
To summon, what's his name? Vortex Dragon.
Yeah, this deck really introduced, the goods.
Everything.
It was actually one of the best, buy 3 kind of pick up and play Pendulum things. And at a time when Pendulums needed,
something. Pendulum Call was the 1-card scale.
Yeah, I think this deck actually has some of the best, value for money if you're just looking to buy 3 cards. And I mean, we all know Skull Crobat Joker will probably be off the ban list one of these days again. So
honestly, is this the one structure deck with the most hits on the ban list?
It probably comes in close. What do viewers? Actually, I want to know in the comments what structure deck has had the most cards hit on the ban list. I actually kind of want to know. Number 3, Dino Smasher's Fury.
It sounds like a Power Rangers show.
Yeah, Dino Smasher's Fury.
It's Morphin time.
This deck had. Actually, some of the cards that trigger me the most today. Soul Eating Oviraptor, a card I hate. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, an incredible boss monster that I also hate. And Lost World, one of the most annoying field spells in the game, for me personally.
But this is a big fan favorite when people anticipated this almost as much as Lair of Darkness.
Yeah, I might hate it, but that doesn't mean I would not recommend it to you guys. It is well worth the money. Oviraptor is a Stratos and also a Baxi of the Yang Zing in 1 card.
They have
and
crazy
a Foolish
support through Miscellaneous Saurus.
This also introduced Petite Pteranodon, which has basically the same effect as Baby Cerosaurus, and then you just have a good boss monster.
Yeah.
It's a broken Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. It's actually dumb.
Who would have thought we'd ever say things like Shadal Dino?
Yeah, exactly. This deck has had staying power. I mean, it's used in a lot of hybrids. There's a lot of variants of it. It's since gotten even more cards you can add in. Double Evolution Pill and
Big Evolution Pill.
Yeah, all those cards, Giant Rex and stuff like that. So it's definitely a buy 3 and sort of profit.
Yeah,
structure
it's
deck.
one of the best on this list. I guess that's why it's number 3.
Yes.
Speaking of best, we're gonna go to number 2. That was Emperor of Darkness. Was it yeah, Emperor of Darkness.
Yeah, the
That
Monarch structure deck.
Yes, it gave us Erebus and Ether. 2 monsters that if you played back then, you still kind of see when you close your eyes at night.
Yeah, hated Monarchs. But this is almost the epitome of buy 3, have a meta deck.
Yep.
Like, at the time, people were triggered almost by how easy it was to, like, just pick up this deck and
You had
got
Pantheism.
Domain, Erebus and Ether were
They're
broken.
by themselves.
She ended up on the ban list, and, like, Pantheism and all that stuff.
This deck was so good, Konami gave us a full suite of Mega Monarchs, and people weren't even stunning about them.
Yeah, these Monarchs literally just crept everything out. This deck was unbelievably consistent. It's
Powerful.
very strong. I mean,
disruptive with the Domain.
yeah, Domain just like I hated this deck, to be completely honest. But it is very well worth buying. Currently, Monarchs aren't super competitive because of the ban list.
They got taken care of.
But give it time, I'm sure they'll be off soon anyway. So.
Oh, please no.
But the first deck, the
Numero
best deck,
uno.
you guys could probably guess this. Seto Kaiba 2016.
ABC.
Yeah.
ABC.
It's actually funny. We were looking at the structure deck, before we did the video. There aren't that many good reprints or other cards in this deck. It is
just
all about those ABCs.
now. Run the names. I always have trouble with this.
What is it?
It's like A.
Okay, I know C is Crush Wyvern.
Was B
B is Buster.
Wyver Buster,
Something Buster.
and A is Assault something.
Yes. And then there's ABC Dragon Buster. Who's the real culprit here? It's that boss monster needs to
Who
go.
he shows up when you don't want to. When he goes, he brings back the small ones.
He can banish things on command. And there's Union Hanger that makes it all super consistent and
super
just happen,
easy,
like, whenever it wants.
and you can combine it with different things. This deck doesn't die. Konami missed the opportunity to hit it, so I don't think it ever will be now.
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of safe, and I mean it's been through phases. They've done Link shenanigans, they've done Ancient Fairy shenanigans. Like it's been combined with like Silver and Gold Gadget and Photon Thrasher and like
if there's any structure deck here that you would like to buy 3 of and be kind of sure you'll be able to play it for just about ever.
Yeah,
it's this
Seto Kaiba 2016, and that confirms our list of the 10 best Yu-Gi-Oh! Structured decks of all time. But did we miss any?
Yeah, if you guys think any other structure deck should have made this list, maybe you think, what was our number 10? Wave of Light wasn't that hot. Maybe you want to bring up, I don't know.
Maybe this new structure that like came out this week.
Oh, Power Code Link. Maybe you think that should make the list. Talk about it. Tell us why. Have we opened all of these on this channel?
I want to say yes.
We should link all of them.
I'm going to try to find them. So that's the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And also subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell.
Join the squad.
And also, as a quick reminder, if you want to buy a custom playmat from Inked Gaming, check it out and use the code APS10.
Shout out to Inked
for 10% off. Check out TCG Player if you want to pick up any of these structure decks. You can just buy them online.
TCG Player.
And it's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Pass, sir.